If the venom enters your eye, it burns. Your eyes are on fire. These are true tales of my African adventures. May this inspire you, deter you, caution you, and above all, entertain you. Some people may have heard of spitting cobras. I just wish to tell you a brief encounter I had at close quarters with a captive spitting cobra. In South Africa, we have two spitting cobras that we come across commonly. There is a third one, which is a black spitting cobra, and we very seldom come across these. The Mozambique spitting cobra is quite a large snake. It could reach 1.8 meters, which is big enough for me. Because if they were much bigger, boy oh boy, they'd be quite a thing to reckon with. They are already, as they are. Now they can eject venom, and they can do so very efficiently. The way the spitting cobra ejects its venom is by having powerful muscles around its venom glands. When it wants to spit, in inverted commas, the powerful muscles actually contract, sending the venom down a duct, a tube, and into a duct in the hollow fangs. The fangs have a discharge orifice at 90 degrees to the tip of the fang, so the venom is forced down the fang, hits the 90-degree angle, and then squirts outwards and can reach a distance of, say, 3 meters maximum. And it atomizes so that the venom is in small drops. These drops land all over the body and usually land in the face because the head is moving and the snake recognizes that that should be the target. Now, it is so successful that spitting cobras can repel their enemies easily enough to become the dominant cobra in a district, for instance. So we're forever finding spitting cobras all over the show in the areas where they occur. Now, the venom is powerfully cytotoxic. I want you to go and Google spitting cobra bites. Once again, I hope you have a strong stomach. I have seen some pictures, because I'm privy to some pictures that others may never see, of spitting cobra bites which will turn your stomach, and the damage is irreparable in some cases, and especially depending on where you've been bitten. Now, before I tell you about my spitting event, I actually received a dry bite from a large cobra. I am deeply thankful that it was a dry bite, because it was a very large cobra. It was in a bag, and I was resting on my haunches for a minute, supporting the bag, and the bag slipped out of my hand onto my leg. Next thing, I felt the fang punctures. Well, the snake had bitten through the bag, through my trousers, into my leg. I immediately pulled the bag off. I stood up, went inside, removed my trousers. There was a little blood coming from each of the fang punctures, and I pulled my trousers back up. And what we do always is we wait for the first symptoms before we move off to seek help or inject the serum, as the case may be. The symptoms never came. No venom got into me. I was deeply relieved. But spitting is another story. Being a cytotoxic venom, it destroys tissue, and so if it goes into the eye, it gets absorbed quite easily by the soft tissue in the eyes. If the venom enters your eye, it burns. Your eyes are on fire, and you can't see, depending of course on the amount of venom in the eye. So I was shipping a few spitting cobras out, and I had a small crate, and I was putting the females together in the crate. They don't normally bite each other. The males sometimes do. I put one big one in, and then I wanted to put the next one in. Normally they go to the bottom of the crate and kind of curl up or lay still, and I needed to put a couple more in. So I wanted to open the crate, but I wanted to make sure that the snake had settled down before I put the second one in. So I peeped into a crack where the lid was. As I opened the crack, I would be able to see downwards into the crate. Don't know why I did such a stupid thing. He happened to be right there at the crack, and as I opened it to look downwards, he let a solid stream of venom into my one eye, my left eye. Some went into my right eye. Solid stream of venom. I felt like I had been punched. The lid dropped shut, the box fell over, the crate, and I sat backwards on my backside, and I was in extreme pain, and I couldn't see. Felt like I'd just been punched in the face, in the eye, and there was nothing I could do. I had to find some water, so I could not see. I had to crawl, and I knew where the bathroom was. Pulled myself upwards, turned the tap on, and flushed my eyes as best I could. I then sat down on the toilet seat, and that's where I remained for a long period, because I simply could not see. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't call for help. We didn't have cell phones in those days. There was no telephone at that particular place I was at. I simply had to sit on my backside and wait. I guess it must have been 2 hours before I could start to see a blurred something in front of me. Well, I finally was able to get out. I didn't finish the packing of the Cobras until a later date. I was able to get into my vehicle. Although my vision was blurred, I could still drive, and I drove home. Put myself to bed, and the next day when I woke up, the eye it spat into was pitch black and swollen so tight I couldn't open it. The other eye was going blue, and I can open it with just a slit. Well, I must tell you, this blurred vision and pain continued for 7 or 8 days. And it took probably a month in all for me to recover, so that I was almost back to normal. It's a terrible venom. Do avoid being spat in the eye by a spitting cobra. Some people have lost their sight.